After parents, students and staff sounded the alarm about books being removed from school library shelves, Ontario's Education Minister says he's directed the Peel District School Board to halt its weeding process. So concerned parents and staff have organized into a group called Libraries Not Landfills. And the group says this weeding process is arbitrarily removing books that were published before 2008. Tom Ellard is one of the parents involved in this group. His son is in grade 10 at Peel School, and he joins us in studio this morning. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So book weeding for damaged books, we know, is a regular part of library life. But a directive from the Ontario Ministry of Education to the Peel District School Board has raised some concerns over which titles were thrown out and why. So the ministry, just as a background for everyone, asked the Peel schools to ensure that books in their libraries were inclusive, culturally responsive, relevant, and reflective of the student bodies and voices in broader school communities. So based on what you are seeing and hearing from students and staff, what are your concerns over the choices of titles removed?
Well, we have a number of concerns and we have a number of questions that we just haven't had adequately answered. I think what we're seeing now is the proof of the questions that we had not being answered realized with empty bookshelves. My concern is that the arbitrary date of 2008, which is set on page 27 of the document that we've been making public through our website, librariesnotlandfills.ca, clearly shows that there's a deliberate intent here to remove books based on an ideological perspective. And that's resulted, as we've seen in Arundel, with empty bookshelves.
Which ideological perspective?
Well, I think that the intent initially was to address concerns around diversity and equity within the school board. And I think every parent and everybody in our community believes that marginalized voices need to be added to our library. So this should have been an additional exercise, so a yes and, instead of no, we're removing the books. So I'm not sure that I can follow the logic of cleansing and removing all of these books from the library to somehow make the ideological leap to making the books more pure and more responsive for students.
And who is involved in the consultation process of which titles were removed?
Well, I wasn't consulted. I don't think any of the parents were consulted. I've been in the Peel Board for 10 years with my son in the school, and nothing like this came to my attention until these documents were revealed to me and teachers asked for my help in raising awareness on this issue.
So what does this removal of books published before a certain year mean for students in schools, like in high schools, like your son, for example?
Sure, absolutely. It creates a problem that students in Peel, my son, and the other children who have spoken out recognize that they're suddenly now unable to access the ideas and information that other competing school boards have. And I think they also recognize this is a form of censorship and really a line that they don't want to see crossed and that I as a parent don't want to see crossed. The removal of books is something that Canadians shouldn't stand for, and we need to stop it in Peel and stop it across the country so that no other school board goes through an exercise like this.
Keeping in mind that Peel School Board is in a unique position because 69% of people that live in Peel identify as being part of a racialized population. So what kind of consultation then should there be in place so that people who are from a racialized community feel like their values and culture are represented, but also balance out the needs of other students as well?
Absolutely. So the diverse needs of the community must be reflected in the learning commons that we see in our libraries. And I think all of the parents and the people who have spoken out want to see additions to our libraries. I think the challenging nature is if we're removing huge swaths of books on a perceived ideological harm basis, who defined what that harm is? How do we address adding new books? It's fairly arbitrary. Who made the decision to remove them? And how do we add new books and on what basis and what's that criteria?
Yeah, and there's a lot of debate around the word quality because, as you say, who gets to determine that? What's the status of the books right now?
So the books prior to May 24th look to have been sent straight to landfill. So that's very concerning. I'm not sure how that helps our students or the environment. What we believe happened after May 24th is a combination of two things. Books continue to be shredded, and we believe that they're now being recycled as per the trustees' directive. However, we also believe there are a number of books that remain in storage, and we'd like to have those books put back onto shelves. Once they're tested for mold, they should be restored to the libraries.
And I think we have some pictures of sort of what it looks like once those books were pulled off the shelves. We're not talking about one or two titles here. There were several that were removed.
This is fairly extensive, so we know the numbers roughly work out to, in one school, 2,400 to 2,500 books. If you aggregate that across the Peel region, around 259 schools, that represents over 650,000 books. That's millions of dollars worth of books. This is not removing one or two titles. This is a significant portion of the total library collection.
All right, well, this is a conversation that, as you've pointed out, people are talking about across North America. We'll wait to see what is determined and decided. Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Thank you for your attention on this issue.
I just want to note that we did reach out to the Peel District School Board for comment on this interview on whether or not the weeding process is going to continue. And as of this interview time, we have not received a response.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.